Christopher Teal can stay standing. Clark will administer the oath of office. Probably just want to step around front maybe, or do it where you're at.
Do it individually or all together?
Let's do it individually.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I don't think we've done it in the past.
All together.
Okay. Then we go all right.
We're signing with you, Neil.
Okay. Gene says we've done them together in the past, so I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just say, well, you have to do the different offices separate, I think.
Okay.
Well, what was that?
Should be on camera.
Yeah.
Guys
I'm
are
gonna hang out here until you're ready.
pretty uncoordinated, guys.
Well, I can do it individually.
Council and then mayor.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
All right, then you two together. Okay, raise your right hand. I say your name.
I, Neil Herzberg,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the ordinances of the City of Painesville,
the ordinances of the City of Painesville,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
of City Council for the City of Painesville,
of the City Council for the City of Painesville,
to which I have been elected
to which I have been elected
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my knowledge and abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. I state your name.
I, Sean Rickey,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the ordinances of the City of
the
Painesville,
ordinances of the City of Painesville,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the mayor of the City of Painesville,
that I will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of the office of mayor of the City of Painesville,
to which I have been elected
to which I have been elected,
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you. Right. Congratulations, councilors. Thank you.
Congrats to you.
All right, going through our activity reports. Afraid I don't have much to say. We were supposed to have a police and fire meeting, but they canceled that for the holiday. So that didn't happen. It has been, other than the special meetings that we had and covered at our last meeting in December, I have not had anything going on since then. So, not much for me. Yeah, just out clearing snow. Neil, I'll turn it down to you.
Nothing new for me. It was a quiet 2 weeks.
Yeah, Megan?
Same.
Hi, Gene.
Same.
All right, Paul.
The same.
Okay. Ron, I'm imagining you also have nothing new to report. Yeah.
He's always got some.
I can't imagine what you guys have been up to.
Yes, I can't imagine it. First of all, I guess I'd like to thank everyone for doing their due diligence on the sidewalks. I think the majority of them have all been taken care of. However, I would like to just note that anyone that is blowing snow out onto the streets, please refrain from that, or if you do blow it out there, you do need to go out and clean the street up behind you then. Thank you. Tree drop off, we will be picking trees up at the fire hall site there until the 11th. Public Works Committee, Neil, you missed that one. They had a pretty full agenda there tonight. One of the items we did discuss was our vehicles that we previously had ordered. Remember, it was the F-250 and the 2013 150. At this time, it was kind of beyond our control. They were not able to deliver them. But currently, there are no vehicles under the state contract that are available. The best they can tell us, come back and look in 3 to 6 months. Our other option is we go out onto the open market and pay approximately $20,000 more. Public Works looked at this and they said, well, let's take the 3 to 6 months and hopefully the contracts will open up. So that is where we're at with that. And then the outdoor skating rink is cleared and open for skating, as is the sledding hill. So there should be plenty of snow out there for sledding also. All right, that's all I have.
Ron, huge thank you to you and your guys for getting us all dug out last week. It was a lot. I know you were quite busy, so I just want to say thank you. And on behalf of everyone here, we appreciate all that you guys were doing.
Thank you.
Any questions for Ron? All right, Tarek.
All right, I only have 2 items. First one was Chuck and I were on a call this week, no, last week, Chuck, right? Yeah. The lead gasoline contamination analysis, which is the LCCMR grant that we're receiving to do the study in the 4 cities, Alexandria, Foley, Blaine, and Painesville. Chuck coordinated a call with all the other cities, as well as Bar Engineering, which is the company that we're recommending we use for the study. So just answer any questions, address any issues they have, and make sure we're all on the same page, and that was a requirement of the Department of Administration before we proceed, so we took care of that. The other item was I met with Excel Energy, and they informed me that they will be closing their facility here down the block. They are going to build a new building outside of Belgrade, and they'll be consolidating 3 facilities, Painesville, Albany, and Glenwood. So they will be putting that building up for sale. I don't know when, but they said they have one interested party. That's it.
Can't imagine why he'd be interested. All right, any questions for Tarek? Sir, Mr. Bertram, are you here for an open forum?
I am, yes.
Okay. We'll give you up to 10 minutes, sir.
All right.
And I'll tell you, if you're here to talk about the planning board, I've already decided that I'll accept your position and recommend you for the spot.
Okay, well, that was part of the question while I was here. So Jacob Bertram, Executive Director of the Painesville Chamber. That's the first thing was, like Mayor Rinke mentioned, is I was interested in being on the Planning Commission board, and I appreciate the support from Mayor Rinke as well as Councilor Soini for this appointment. I just want to be more involved in local government and thought that'd be a great place to start. So I appreciate that, and hopefully the council can approve that appointment tonight. The second thing I just wanted to talk about is the Painesville Chamber is going to have their annual meeting this Saturday, January 14th at Roadside Tavern in Roscoe. We'll be electing our new board of directors, giving a recap this past year, giving out our chamber awards that we do every year to several community members this year. It's just going to be a great way to, if you could attend, as a show of support for the community and represent the city of Painesville. So we would appreciate that. You'll have live music. A comedian is booked, so we're kind of looking forward to that, to see what kind of jokes that he would bring. I think it's going to be a great evening, and like I said before, we'd appreciate if everyone is able to make it. If you need any tickets or anything, just let me know. I can get them to you. They're $20 for pre-sale. Otherwise, more information will be on our website or our Facebook page. So that's all I had to say for tonight. Thank you.
Sir.
I need a couple of tickets, that's for sure. I'll talk to you after.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll be seeing you tomorrow anyway.
On what? Yeah.
Oh, Wednesday, sorry.
Wednesday, yeah.
You're gonna be in Arizona.
You don't need a ticket.
I already got asked them, I said, not this year, I'm always there.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. All right, moving on, then the adoption of our consent agenda, the minutes listed on page 1, the vouchers on page 2 of our regular agenda totaling $179,376.99, along with the appointment of Mr. Bertram to the planning board. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda unless anyone wants something pulled from it.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Soini. Is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Thank you. All right. And then just a reminder to everyone, Kristen is in the back taking minutes for us now. Jen has dutifully served us for a long time, and we're now turning over the minutes to Kristen. So just make sure that as you're making motions and things that you say it out loud so that she can hear you. I'll try and repeat names so that everything is captured appropriately, but in case I forget, let's just make sure we're speaking into the mics. Okay, going on then to new business item A on page 4, whether or not we want to do another special city council meeting for a retreat again. We did this last year. We spent quite a few hours over at the Legion. Jen has proposed some dates for us in late February if we want to do it again. I would say I'm all in favor of a retreat, but late February is bad for me. I've got a trial scheduled then, so trying to squeeze in time for this, I wouldn't be able to do it productively. So
Wait until March.
I'd suggest that we look for some dates in March. But is there an interest in doing it again?
I think it was good.
I think it was good.
Yeah.
It was nice.
All right, some more things we can talk about. I'm looking at the dates of March 1st, 14th, and 29th that Jen has for the all boards and special city council meeting. I'm wondering if maybe we look at those dates instead for our retreat, and then look at different dates for the all board meeting? Or do we want to keep these and look for different dates for the retreat?
I think these dates work better for the retreat than for the all boards, especially with 2 meeting Wednesdays.
Shoot, my only concern though is that I bet when she was checking availability, she didn't check all day for those dates in March.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like the Legion.
Right. Well, everyone up for doing a retreat someday in March?
Yes.
Okay, the first half or second half work better for people?
Makes no difference.
Same here. All right, so let's just ask Jen to give us some dates in March for an all-day retreat. And we can come back on that at our next meeting. And then if anybody has any ideas for agenda items, things that worked well, things that didn't work well, let's talk about that beforehand as well. Okay, so no action on new business A. Moving on then to the all boards and special city council meeting. Again, we did this last year. It's not a thank you meeting so that the auditors are happy, but it's a time that we can work with all of our city committees and boards and groups. I think for the first time doing it in 10 plus years, it worked out pretty well last year. It'd be nice if we can get more participation this year. I'd be certainly interested in doing it again.
Just not on Wednesdays.
Yep, Wednesdays are going to be tough. So maybe Tuesday the 14th.
I'm open.
Any issues with Tuesday the 14th?
I'm open anytime.
Okay. Gene, are you making a motion?
Yep, I'll make that motion.
So I have a motion from Soini to set the annual meeting of all City of Painesville boards and special city council for Tuesday, March 14th, 2023 at the American Legion from 6 to 8 p.m. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Hertzberg. Any further discussion on that? Same thing as before. If people look at the agendas, please come up if you have ideas for what we can do better. It was our first time doing it in 10 years. Let's get more people there and make it as best we can. Okay, calling the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? That carries. Okay. New business C, employee wellness program. This is a resolution that policies and procedures discussed and recommended. It came about after a city staff member's parent passed away unexpectedly. And I asked the question of whether the city could do something as simple as like sending flowers to the funeral or something like that, just to show respect. We were told that in years past it had worked where employees had gathered and contributed money to put in a card or whatever, but as with many things, that tradition has ended. Melinda talked to the auditors, or talked to the auditors, and as long as we have something in writing in a resolution, if we put it underneath the wellness program, it appeases the auditors, and we can set aside just a couple $100 probably at most is all it would cost.
Per year.
Yeah, per year. And we can do a meaningful gesture for times like that when something might happen. And it's just to help show the people who work for us that we care for them and their families. So this is something that policies and procedures recommended. Neil and Tarek, if you have more to add on that, certainly can chime in.
No, it's quite simple.
Don't know the wishes of the council. If somebody wants to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-06, establishing an employee wellness program.
Motion by Thielen, as stated on the action sheet, approving Resolution 2023-06. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brick. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? That carries. Okay, page 10, conference attendance. The list on here are the things that we have generally attended. Includes the annual conference, again this year in Duluth, other League of Minnesota Cities conferences and trainings. There's the MCFOA.
I think the only one I would like to attend would be the MCFOA, but we agreed that we'll skip the LMC, or not go every year, but not for everybody. So maybe a couple people want to go this year.
One thing I would recommend, I think I've talked to Paul a little bit, some of these conferences, if we can double up in a room or get 4 people in a car, we're gonna be within budget that we can all do more than maybe half.
Great.
So I highly recommend that we put our heads together. For one night, I think I could put up with Paul. Oh, boy.
So if you're saying,
Well, that's the question. Would you like to report afterwards?
no.
Is there one going to be one this winter like we had down at Plymouth?
Yes.
March 3rd and 4th
In
at
Raleigh, isn't it? Yeah. And there's one in Plymouth too.
I think there
one in Plymouth also.
The weekend before that, I believe.
Yeah, I think going to the safety and loss control workshops is something I should be doing. The mayor's conference, I'd like to attend. It's been canceled the last 2 or even 3 years. I haven't had the chance to go.
Yeah, I think you should.
I don't have the ability to carpool with anyone for that, unfortunately.
Well, I would like to go because they usually have meetings split up to new council members and then ones that are,
Experienced.
yeah, thank you, experienced.
I'm good with these. I think let's approve, my suggestion would be let's approve this list. And then just as we get towards registration, Tarek, if you want to keep a handle on where costs are at and if we're nearing that budget number, let us know and we can rethink going as need may have it.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
You don't have any in that day of the Capitol.
I noticed that, but I was thinking it also fell under all of the other.
Yeah, that's true.
That one was also canceled the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Which one? I didn't hear.
The whole day at the Capitol,
Okay, because that's scheduled right now.
March 9th or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve, I'm not going to list all of them, to approve the attendance, registration, mileage, unusual expenses, and per diem for the attendees of the conferences that are approved here.
Okay, I have a motion by Hertzberg, as stated on the action sheet, approving the attendance, registration, mileage, usual expenses, and per diem, if applicable, of the city administrator and council members for the events listed on the action sheet. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Soini. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carries. Right. Moving on, page 1 of our update, also page 11 of the initial one, we have a new letter of, I guess, confirming the extension of our lease agreement from Roger Teal over at the liquor store, confirming the rent amount staying the same of $1,828 per month, plus $10 for sign electricity. The recommendation from the liquor store manager is that we continue in this lease with all of the funds coming out of Fund Number 105.
Yes.
I'll make the motion to pay the 2023 liquor store lease in monthly installments of $1,828 plus $10 for the sign. Bill from 105 Liquor Fund payable to Teals, man.
We have a motion by Soini, as stated on the action sheet, approving the 2023 liquor store lease, which would go then until June 30th, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Thielen. Any further discussion?
Is there a clause if either side wants to get out of the lease, or?
I believe there is. I think there was in the original, I'm sure there was, with a written notice.
Yeah, it was so many 90 days or something, I think.
Yeah.
Do you remember, Bill?
I think it was for a year anyway.
No, that's kind of where I'm coming at.
It probably shouldn't be an issue, but,
It's a short-term
I
lease.
mean, it's good to know, even on his side, you know, what if you got 90 days to relocate, wouldn't be pretty.
New. I don't think he's gonna give us the boot anytime soon,
No, but,
but I understand what you're saying. No, I don't know. Something good to find out.
yeah, and I guess if, Terry, if you just look it up and give me an email,
Okay.
I'm sure there is, I remember.
as far as renewing the lease, that's,
I'm not so sure there is, but there should be, but it just seems like that'd be sort of odd provision to have at least, but.
Yeah, I don't remember. Okay, calling the question, all those in favor of the lease extension indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None? That carries. Okay, on to page 13, the mileage rate. Past, we've always matched the IRS. This year, it is 65.5 cents, up 3 cents from 62.5.
I'll make the motion to approve the city mileage rate, 65.5 cents per mile effective January 1st through December 31st of 2023.
I have a motion by Soini. Is there a second?
second.
Second by Hertzberg. Approving the IRS mileage rate of 65.5 cents per mile as stated on the action sheet. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carries. Okay, the part I was not looking forward to, because I know this is going to take us 15 votes and 3 days to accomplish.
At least.
I await multiple nomination speeches from everyone involved. The election of mayor pro tem. And before anybody volunteers, just a heads up on our meeting on January 23rd, there's a likelihood that you'll be called on, as it looks like I'm going to be down in Stillwater that day. So,
Well, I hope you get out.
Gene has dutifully served for the last 2 years, has done so before. If we look next, Neil has probably the next most seniority. Megan and Paul are essentially tied. Megan, I think you've got Paul beat by 1 council meeting.
Well, don't.
I'll make a motion to elect Gene to do it another year.
Right. There's a motion to elect Gene Soini as mayor pro tem. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Brick. Motion by Hertzberg, second by Brick to elect Gene Soini as mayor pro tem. Any further discussion on that? Gene, are you willing to accept the nomination?
Oh, yes, so far.
I know.
You're never gone.
But the days that I say I'm going to be gone, I end up showing up anyway. All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carries.
Congratulations, Gene.
Just can't believe it didn't take us 15 votes.
This was only 5 of us.
I know. Nobody voted present.
There weren't any near bros, just not saying at all.
People think city government is boring. We could make it fun.
Well, I'm pretty sure that 5 of us will get a lot more done than the 435.
I think you're probably right.
I agree, you're exactly right.
All right, but we won't spend as much money.
Look at that.
All right, we have resolution, then we're looking at the official depositories for our city funds. We currently use Perennial Bank, Magnify, and Bank of the West. Resolution 2023-01 keeps that the same. Tarek, I don't think there's any recommendation to change that, is there?
No, recommendation is to keep it the same.
Motion to approve resolution 2023-01, designating depositories of funds, designating a chief financial officer, and establishing authority to act.
We have a motion by Soini, approving resolution 2023-01. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Brooke. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? That carries. Page 18, council member board appointments. Those eagle-eyed viewers would note that things stayed exactly the same. Nobody expressed any desire to change, so I left it.
I did.
What did you want?
She didn't say, she said she.
Yeah.
I just said I should change, but
Well, I will tell you, Megan, I was contemplating, you had expressed an interest in serving on the police and fire board. So I was thinking of switching you and I around and putting me on Park and Tree.
yeah.
But with you working on all the grants and stuff for Park and Tree, I thought that might be better suited for you to stay put.
Yeah, we'll stick it out another year.
Otherwise, if you wanted to do the police and fire advisory, I could take up the EDAP slot.
We can just stick with it for this year and go next year. That's fine too.
Okay.
Well, if everybody's happy, I'll make the motion to approve 2023 council member board appointments.
Motion by Hertzberg to approve the appointments as listed on the action sheet. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Soini. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Carries. Page 19, the city board member appointments. Again, these all stayed the same with the addition to planning of Mr. Bertram, who was listed on the consent agenda.
So the only opening is in Park and Tree.
The only opening is in Park and Tree, that's correct.
It would be nice to fill that. And I do have one other question.
Yes, sir.
On the EDAP board, the second one, Chris Stanley, says city representative.
Yes.
He actually is,
Lives in the township.
yeah. So
So we need a
can he be at large or what? I don't want him off the committee. I just, we're incorrect saying city rep.
Yeah, and that's something that, I know Jen and I discussed, Tarek, I don't remember if you were part of that conversation or not either. He was appointed, oh gosh, I don't even remember, a long time ago.
No.
And I don't recall if he was living in the city then, or if the city just decided to go ahead and list him there as the city rep.
I think
Because of
at
his-
one time he was in the city limits.
Yeah,
And this goes back, it may go back that far.
I think it does, and then he continued to serve as the city rep because of his position with Magnify.
Could we change that to like member at large?
Then you don't have a city representative.
Right. And I don't know that the board membership allows for an at-large member.
Okay.
Could say city appointed,
That could be.
Something like that.
Mhm.
Because we should be able to pick who we want.
it's a
Because we do have two councils.
It's a committee that's both township and city people anyway, so it really doesn't matter where he lives except the sameness. I'd say just change it to,
It would be nice to have somebody who does live in the city, but, well, we do. A representative, but I just don't know that we would be able to find one,
yeah,
especially if we keep meeting at 7 in the morning.
right?
Well, so here is, and I'm just pulling up our ordinance. The board is composed of 8 members 2 are members of the council, 1 is a member of the township board, and 5 at large. 1 of them is from the Chamber of Commerce, 1 Pay-Delico, 2 recommended by the township, and 1 recommended by the city council.
So that covers Chris.
So that would be Chris. Is there a more accurate way to phrase that?
Maybe we should say city council representative.
Or just city
City
recommended?
appointed representative, I mean, that's what it says
City
in
representative.
the ordinance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can just update the language of that a little bit.
That's all I'm asking, yes.
Yep.
Clarify.
City
When
appointed.
I looked at it first, I thought, whoa, what can that be? Other than that, people are happy with their committees, we're getting good attendance, more or less.
I believe so. I haven't heard anything otherwise.
The committees I'm on, we get good showing, so. With that, I'll make the motion to approve 2023 city board member appointments.
Right, I have a motion by Hertzberg to approve the 2023 city board member appointments. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Soini. One thought that I just had before calling the question.
I thought some members wanted to leave the board.
They did,
Public Works,
but they were replacing.
But I thought Jerome wanted to leave.
Oh, off the Park and Tree.
I thought, I'm not sure though.
He hasn't resigned.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly where Jeff Bertram serves, but he's on one of these.
He's on the trail.
He's on the trail.
That's all it is, thank you. I had reached out to him with his election to Stearns County to see if he was interested in continuing to serve, and I have not heard otherwise from him. So we are assuming that he plans to continue until we hear otherwise. Any further discussion then on this? None, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, that carries. Okay. Item K, our resolution 2023-02, appointing the data practices compliance official. Tarek has served in the past, and it has historically always been our city administrator.
Motion to approve resolution 2023-02, appointing data practices compliance official.
I'll second.
Motion by Soini, approving the motion, seconded by Greg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? That carries. Page 24 has a list of our city appointments and assignments. Nothing here has changed, including a repeat of the data practices compliance officer, otherwise designating our newspaper as the press, city attorney Spooner and Glenn's, labor attorney Madden Galanter Hansen, and the rest is listed on the action sheet as they continue to serve. Would the council like to proceed?
I just have a question, Jim Tools, how much are we actually using them?
Last year, I think we only used them for a week when Brad was gone in summer. That's the only time I know.
And
Could have been another
that's-
time or two, but not very often.
That's good. Other than that, it looks good to me. I'll make the motion to approve 2023 city assignments and appointments as presented.
Motion by Hertzberg to approve the appointments and assignments as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Soini. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Okay, page 25, number of our meetings, well, just one actually this year, falls on Christmas. Proposal is to bump that back to Wednesday, December 27th.
Is there a reason we're going to Wednesday instead of Tuesday?
I think to give them a day to get stuff done in the office and get agendas out and all that stuff.
I'm actually thinking Because aren't we generally closed Christmas Eve as well?
Yes.
Yeah, Jen had explained that she moved it to the Wednesday because she figured some people would still be traveling on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
Makes sense as well.
But this year we meet Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, well,
yeah, we had some Monday off.
doesn't make me any difference, I just wondered. I'll make the motion to reschedule second city council meeting in December from Monday, Christmas Day, the 25th, to Wednesday, December 27th, 2023.
There's a motion by Hertzberg, as stated on the action sheet. Is there a second? Second by Thielen. Rescheduling our Monday, December 25th meeting to Wednesday, December 27th. Any further discussion on that? Now's a good time to ask, do we want to continue to meet on Mondays? You're not on choir anymore, Gene.
No, you are.
All those in favor of rescheduling this meeting indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None. All right. We have a proposed resolution on item N, Resolution 2023-03, regarding certificates of deposit savings account and money market accounts, and how those funds are withdrawn or transferred.
I just wonder, it's different than the check signing authority where the mayor pro tem gets mentioned. I don't know if it's important, but it just struck me when I reviewed these that the mayor pro tem is not an option on this resolution, but it is on the check signing authority. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter because Gene says Sean's never been on.
I've never had to sign anything of these, just the checks.
And I know with checks, occasionally it will happen where Belinda will call and say we have to get, it's usually with the airplane fuel. You need to get that paid
We
within
have to
a couple days.
sign a check.
Whereas with this, it's probably not as time sensitive.
Sure, makes sense. I just mentioned it to notice it was different.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I've never done it.
How would the council like to proceed on this?
Motion to approve resolution 2023-03 regarding certificate of deposit, savings accounts, and money market accounts.
We have a motion by Soini approving resolution 2023-03. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Hertzberg. Any further discussion on this? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Carries. Page 29, item O, the automated bank payments and wires, resolution 2023-04, to allow the same. And the note in here is that this is done in order to satisfy the audit requirements.
Motion to approve resolution 2023-04 allowing wire automated bank payments.
Motion by Sony approving resolution 2023-04. Any further discussion? Or is there a second? Excuse me. Second. Second by Thielen. Neil.
On page 30, it says, now therefore be it resolved, the city council shall allow the city administrator / acting city administrator. Wouldn't that now be city clerk?
No, it's,
Or has she got joint title?
No,
no, because that's only, we don't have a city.
there's no city administrator, yeah.
It's whoever acting as city administrator.
Yep.
Because
Okay.
Belinda's our city treasurer, so if he can't, she does. She can.
Well, it says and or city treasurer.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep, that's Belinda.
So who is the acting city administrator?
We don't have
I
one.
found it around, yeah.
That's if we
It has
don't
been
have.
on in the past.
It was Ron.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
only
I
if
was
we don't
thinking-
have an administrator.
Then it's fine where it's road, I guess.
Thank you, sir. Calling the question then, approving resolution 2023-04. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? That carries. Thank you. Page 31, appointment of fire department officers. Fire department members recommend appointing the individuals listed there on the action sheet. And
They don't actually vote on them this year. These are the same ones as last year. They won't do it every 2 years. It's
so,
just-
look looking to approve the same officers for the upcoming year as those who have served before.
I'll make the motion to appoint following fire department officers: Chief Andy Slaney, Assistant Chief Mike Spinner, Secretary Chris Bryce, Finance Officer Jessica Stransky, Captain John Coulter, First Lieutenant Justin Bogey, Lieutenant under 10 years of service Chris Bryce, and Training Officer Sean Shade Schmidt.
Motion by Hertzberg is listed on the action sheet appointing the fire department officers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Thielen. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Carries. Page 32, our last resolution of the evening, 2023-05, regarding check signing authority and procedures, allowing the mayor or the mayor pro tem and the city administrator or treasurer to sign checks. In the event of an emergency, it allows for a stamped signature as long as there's one live one.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2023-05 regarding check signing authority and procedures.
Motion by Slaney, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brick, approving resolution 2023-05. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carries. Okay, on to our update, page 3, item R, the homesteading agricultural rental property agreement. If you could tell us a little bit about this here.
Okay, thank you. Yes, the homestead rental agreement for ag property is on our city-owned property, and I think everyone's aware that on our city-owned property, if we have an income on it, we are subject to property taxes. And those property taxes are on a non-homesteaded basis. Under this program that the county has going, the tax burden would go over to the renter, and that renter then gets those at a homesteaded rate, which is about 50% less. If you take on Exhibit A, that we have the tax burden to this renter was $1,442. Our tax burden on that piece of property would have been $2,884. So divide that by 2, the savings is the $1,440 also. And under this agreement, the city would reimburse them for the property taxes and also half of the savings. So our savings on this particular one would be the $721. And this particular site is on one of our irrigation pivots. The other one is out at the airport. So at the airport, the tax burden to the city would have been $440. Our savings is $2,200. So our savings, the city savings out there this year would have been $1,100. Bill, I don't know if you want to add anything on to that, or if you have, but,
Bill, I mean, I think Ron's explained it well. The county's got some rules about who can qualify and, you know, how close this has to be to somebody's homestead, and the total value of all the lands that they claim homestead on is limited, but it works in this particular case, and so it's a kind of a win-win for the farmer and the city. The farmer saves some money, and we save some money.
One thing that was brought to my attention, and I don't remember if we talked about this as a council meeting or if Ron and I had the conversation. I recall discussing it at some point, and I think there was a consensus that we move forward with it. This has been enacted, the farmers have been operating under it, so there's a concern that it may result in a ding on our audit, but it's one where that was done because we didn't have this agreement in place. We are still saving the city money by doing it, so I think of all things that if that's going to come up, I'm not terribly worried about it, but it's just giving everyone notice that it could be a thing in a few months.
it was discussed at Public Works, and they did recall that the Public Works did approve it, so somewhere between Public Works Committee and the council, we never did get the formal agreement brought to the council, and I apologize for that.
I'm already over it, worse things have happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the council would like to move forward. The recommendation is to approve the agreement regarding homesteading of agricultural rental property.
motion to approve the agreement regarding homesteading of agricultural rental property between the City of Painesville and Magaswelli LLC retroactive to 2022.
I have a motion by Soini, is there a second? Second by Hertzberg. Approving the agreement regarding homesteading of agricultural rental property between the City of Painesville and Magaswelli LLC retroactive to 2022. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? That carries. Okay, moving on then, back to our old agenda, page 35. We have ordinance number 40, third series. We discussed this last year, amending the right-of-way regulations and the official summary thereof. This was posted, Public Works recommends this, and the proposed motion is approving the ordinance modification and the summary of it. Ron, could you give us just a quick overview of what we're modifying again here?
Certainly, obviously the road right away, we control the center 66 feet, or the entire road right away, 66 feet, of which anytime anybody excavates in that, within that area, they do need to come in and get a permit. However, sometimes when you get into your larger projects, it does take a engineer's review. And obviously, when we get the engineer involved, it does cost us sometimes a considerable amount of money. What this does is allows us to charge back that engineering fee to whoever is pulling the permit out.
Thank you. All right, how would the council like to proceed?
Motion to approve ordinance number 40, third series, amending right-of-way regulations and official summary of ordinance number 40, third series.
We have a motion by Soini, is there a second?
A second.
Second by Brick. As stated on the action sheet, approving ordinance number 40, third series, and summary of ordinance number 40. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Carries. All right, on to page 42, the library feasibility study. Tarek, if you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Yeah, I had a call with Friends of the Library and Painesville Community Foundation, along with the owner of Washburn Court, Tom Opatz, and we're leaning towards, or we'd like to see a feasibility study on tearing down Washburn Court and using the lots that are also adjacent to it, so there are 3 lots total, and to construct a purpose-built building, half of which will be used for Tom Opatz and his company, half of it will be for the library. Steve Peterson at the foundation and Friends of the Library would like to have an architect do the study and review, along with Bolton and Mint to do the engineering side. They are willing to pay 100% of the cost of this, but they would like it to come from the city. So they're asking if the city would approve it and pay for it, and then they would reimburse the city for 100% of the cost to do this architectural and engineering study.
Effectively, it costs the city nothing because we'd be looking at reimbursement.
Yes, it would cost the city nothing, but they would like the city to take the lead on it.
Sounds okay.
And I think,
Opatz isn't going to contribute to this,
no.
and the Friends are okay with that.
Steve volunteered to have them take care of it, just so to get the ball, or keep the ball rolling.
We'll have to cough up later.
Well, I think we need to keep the
Ball.
ball rolling, and I'll make the motion to approve the feasibility study, amount of $10,450 for the relocation of the library on the Washburn Court property, and to be reimbursed by the Painesville Area Community Foundation at a future date.
We have a motion by Hertzberg to approve the feasibility study, cost $10,450 with reimbursement from the Painesville Area Community Foundation. Is there a second to that motion?
A second.
Seconded by Brick. Any discussion? Bill, I'm almost positive we've done things like this before, so no issues doing it again, right?
No, I don't see an issue with it. I don't know what the reason for doing it that way is. I don't follow it exactly, but it seems fine. I mean, we're essentially agreeing to pay for it and then accept the donation that covers the cost. As long as it's a cash donation, accepting it shouldn't be a big issue.
I am growing increasingly skeptical of this arrangement, but I trust that it will work out. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carries. Right, just one piece of informational, which is that we have 4 trained members for the Board of Appeal and Equalization training. If you haven't taken it before, I would encourage you to do so. It is helpful to understand what we're looking for when we get to those Board of Appeal and Equalization meetings. If you haven't taken it for a while, it might not be a terrible idea to redo it. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.